state's largest school district is asking voters for more money again.
While Governor Otter says his budget is focused on education. It's all about money in this week's Making the Grade with Idaho Education News reporter Kevin Richard. Kevin, again, thank you for coming back for Making the Grade. The legislature is underway. Governor Otter gave his State of the State address. The time is here.
There's a lot going on. We should maybe take over the rest of the whole newscast tonight. But
I don't think the producers will allow that. But give me your highlights from State of the State when it comes to education.
Quickly then,
yes.
The big number is $101 million. That is the general fund request for an increase that Governor Otter is seeking for public schools. So that translates to about a 7.4% increase. It's a big chunk of money that he's seeking from the legislature, and it goes into several areas. Teacher salaries, the career ladder, he would like to start funding that. He'd like to put about $20 million back into the school districts to replace money that they lost during the recession. There'd be about $9 million that would go into technology. There's also a chunk of money in there for keeping the Idaho Education Network, the broadband system, in place. So there's a lot to chew on in this budget, and it's obviously first week of the session. It's a little early to see how it's going to play.
Well, of course, that's the big question. Is he going to get this money?
Well, that's a big question. It seems like a lot of the early reactions are somewhat favorable. Even some Democrats in the legislature were pleased with what they heard on Monday. The question is, will legislators feel like they have the money to put this all together, to pull this all off? The governor is also talking about trying to cut some taxes, and the chairman of the Senate Tax Committee is saying, I'm not going to entertain a tax cut unless I see the increase in teacher pay and feel like education has been fully funded. So a lot of back and forth, a lot of interplay that still is going to unfold over at the State House the next 3 months. We're just getting started. And
I should mention that Kevin and I are having the chance to sit down and do a first in-depth interview with the governor tomorrow morning. So if you have questions that you'd like to ask the governor specifically about education, we'd love to hear from you. You can shoot us a message through email or social media. Let's hit broadband, the Idaho Education Network, and the governor said this has to continue to go on. Fact of the matter, though, is that right now what we know is that IEN is not even going to have a new contract until the start of a new contract going out to people until June. So what does this mean in terms of money for where the state stands?
It means the state will have to come up with some more money to keep the system in place. That's how it all looks at this point, because it's going to take months for the state to rebid this contract and award this contract all over again. So the state will probably not get any money through the federal government until at least the summer of 2016. That's why they're actually encouraging school districts to go try to apply for money from the federal government on their own to see if they can get some money. Basically, the governor is asking for about $9 million here as well to try to keep the system online. And that gets you through the end of the next budget year. That gets you into next summer. We'll see how that plays at the legislature. And again, this whole contract process, this whole bidding process is just getting underway.
Right, after being in the legal system and still in the legal system. We'll continue to follow that one for you. Before I let you go, West Ada School District, largest school district in the state of Idaho, once again deciding to run with a levy.
A bond issue,
right.
And it's all about money, this segment. But this is a big chunk of money for patrons in the West Ada district. They're going to be asked to decide in March on another version of the bond issue. We had one on the ballot in August. It failed. It did not get the 2/3 support that it needed. This one would pay for about $96 million worth of projects. A lot of stuff the district has talked about before. New middle schools, a new grade school, some land acquisitions, finishing work on the Meridian High School. So that's a big campaign, that's a big chunk of money, and that's going to be unfolding in the next few weeks.
And real quickly, since I even messed it up right there, the difference between a levy and a bond, Kevin?
Long-term debt. Bond issue is what districts use to pay for schools over the course of years. So there's a lot of interest involved. There's about $30 million of interest in this. And because it's long-term debt, the hurdle to pass it is a lot higher. You need that 2/3 majority to pass it.
There you go. All right, there's so much to talk about, and we will continue to do this every week with Making the Grade. If you'd like to read more, go to idahoednews.org. And once again, Kev and I will be speaking with the governor. You'll hear that interview coming up tomorrow night right here. Kev, thanks for being here.
Well, thank you.